MIDI controllers and why they are so important, in my opinion at least. Some producers love to use them, some producers don't. They only program all the music inside of the DAW. But do you really need any kind of a controller to make music? The answer is simple. No, you don't need anything like that. You can make music on your laptop, on your PC without any musical equipment, just the DAW, just some VSTs, and you are good to go. Personally, I've been playing guitar, bass and drums for a huge part of my life, and the general philosophy of a performance means a lot to me. You know, when you are hitting the strings on the guitar, you feel the vibration of the wood. When you are playing on a piano or even on a MIDI controller like this, you touch the keys. The velocity is different every time you touch the key. More expensive controllers have aftertouch, lots of different stuff that makes every single note unique. But okay, the topic is MIDI controllers only. Here I have my trusty Nektar Impact LX25 Plus. It's a really cheap MIDI controller. It's pretty big because it's got the full-sized keys. They are pretty, like, bouncy. I don't like these keys. I think they could have at least a little bit more of the synth action. This is like, you know, you press it and it goes back instantly. And when you are playing some leads or anything like that, you want some arpeggios. It's just not as nice to play as you would on a regular fully weighted piano keyboard. Okay, so having a MIDI controller gives you a great way to express yourself with a certain device, which is a MIDI controller. And that's a really good thing, because as I told you, there's always a kind of human performance between your beats, between your music. So that's definitely a way to go for me. The next thing is the automation. Most of the MIDI controllers nowadays have a kind of knobs, any kind of faders, you know, stuff like that, just to control some parameters inside your DAW. I really like the idea of working from a certain device without touching the mouse and the keyboard, but I know it's not possible, at least if you are not using, at least without using Native Instruments machine. But even if you are recording automation, for example, you are opening a filter, you are making some sweeps on the filter, anything like that, maybe some volume sweeps, I don't know. If you are doing it with your hand, there's always some misalignment, there is always some, you know, human factor, which I really like to have. The next thing is the pad controller, you know, for playing samples, drums, anything like that. I'm using these mostly for playing drums. Here I have my Akai MPD218. This is my main controller for playing drums. And the reason why it's so important to me to play drums on this controller and not program them on the DAW itself is because I'm coming up with much different patterns when I am playing something with my hands than placing notes in the DAW. If I just feel the groove of the beat, I can come up with much more complicated and much more fitted hi-hat rolls and that kind of stuff for this certain beat, because I'm just playing them with my hands along the beat. This is just my performance. I am performing it live and I'm recording it to my DAW. Then of course I am quantizing everything, but I leave the velocity alone, and all the rolls that were hit on the MPD are in their place. So if you're considering, if you want to buy any kind of a MIDI controller as a beginner, it can be Akai MPK Mini or anything smaller, bigger, the choice is yours. I would say definitely go for it, because this will expand your knowledge, your musical abilities. This is an instrument and you will learn how to play it. Another key thing you have to do if you obtain a MIDI controller is to read the freaking manual.
No, I am not reading the manual. I will figure out everything myself.
Yep, you can do it, but this will certainly take much more time than reading the manual and knowing about every feature just in a few minutes. For example, I didn't know how to program scales on this Akai MPD218, and I thought it's only suitable for making drum loops. And then I discovered you can program some music scales to it and you can play melodies. And thanks to the aftertouch on the pads, you can even make some more expression after pressing the sound. I discovered that I can synchronize this thing with my DAW, and when I'm doing the hi-hat rolls, I don't have to tap in the tempo manually. So it's definitely a huge improvement. It saves time, it's much more efficient, and it's just comfortable to work that way. To sum everything up, having a controller is a great thing. Most importantly, it's having an actual instrument. You can learn music theory on your own without any kind of controllers, but you won't learn how to play actual key. But you won't learn how to play actual keys, for example, which is a pretty important thing as you are a music producer, in my opinion at least. Personally, I feel that MIDI keyboard is such a basic tool that makes you able to communicate with any kind of VST, any kind of DAW, that you should at least know how to play some basic chords, basic scales, and trust me, this will help you a lot. I can describe how much it helped myself. My beats just started to be more like I want them to be. A lot of the times I had an idea in my head, I tried to write it to the MIDI editor, and I totally changed the idea and it didn't even sound like the thing in my head anymore. But if I'm playing it on a pad or on the keyboard, it's much more easy to just record what I've played and then quantize it and prepare it, make a loop and turn it into a beat. So that's my view on MIDI controllers. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know what to do. Stay tuned for new videos, 3 new videos a week on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. My name is Dominik, you've been watching Wodzu Beats, and keep the good vibes alive.